Hello, hello. Hi, good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Great, great, fine. Good to hear from you guys. So thank you so much to the CFA Society Malaysia for inviting the both of us today. We're glad to be representing Hays to talk to you guys about the career trends within the finance investment industry. And of course, we have a Q&A session at the end of this whole entire presentation, so feel free to ask any questions if you have any. Okay? Okay, so in terms of what we're going to be doing today, so we have outlined in terms of our agenda. So we're going to talk a little bit about Hays itself, okay? And then we're going to talk a little bit more about the career trends within the finance and investment industry. And then we'll talk a little bit more about CVs, how to stand out when applying for certain roles that you see online, directly to the companies, or even through recruitment agencies, as well as the market overview and recruitment trends in general, what's in the market right now and how you can stay ahead of the trends in the current market.
So just a quick introduction about myself. I'm Sheryn Chan, and I'm a team manager at Hays Malaysia. For those who don't know what Hays do, basically we are the largest recruitment company in Malaysia so far, and we help MNC or small medium companies in recruiting and searching the right talents. And for myself, I specialize to recruit for finance and accountancy role within financial services. And we have Belle here today with me, and she is recruiting in the same space. So she also have a lot of track records in helping startups like fintechs in searching finance talents as well. So about Hays, basically we are operating in 33 markets with over 50 years in the recruitment world. And basically every working days we will help thousands of candidates find a job. And because we need a lot of help of LinkedIn, which we are actually the most followed recruitment company as of today as well. So other than just finance and accounting roles that we have been recruiting for, we do have consultant recruiting in other areas like engineering, sales, marketing. So if you do have any friends who might be looking out, feel free to reach out to. And I'll pass it back to Belle to share with you what are the trends currently are changing in the markets.
Okay, so career trends in finance and investment. I think we have touched on this quite a couple of times earlier throughout the different talks, whether having a finance degree is important. Now we know already when you don't need a degree to register for CFA, right? So I won't necessarily say that having a finance degree is important. But however, having a qualification such as a CFA certificate is very, very important. There are companies like Maybank that are actually highly prioritizing in this when they recruit for the finance team, for the investment team, for corporate finance. So if this is something that you're looking to make a step into, having a qualification such as a CFA certification is actually pretty important. Okay, now for interfunction mobility. So what we have seen pick up over the past, I'd say 6 to 12 months, there's a lot of intermobility between different functions. So for example, finance and risk. So if you're doing regulatory reporting within a bank, there's a high chance for you to move into a risk position if there's something that you're looking to go into over the next couple of years. Otherwise, from risk, you can move into finance as well. Otherwise, you can move into roles such as corporate finance, look into investment. It's very, I won't say it's interchangeable. You still need to pick things up as you go when you move into the different roles because you need to be able to adapt, be able to hit the ground running, as mentioned earlier, be able to learn and be ahead of everyone else. But it's still somewhat transferable skills. The most important thing is your exposure that you have, how you choose to stand out, and how you can show in terms of your technical skills and make sure that your attitude is in the right place. ESG. I think we saw a lot of questions about ESG earlier as well, environmental social governance. So one of the things that I think that a lot of other companies that we have seen so far has already started establishing and looking into this, right? Even our company has been doing that too. Yeah, so within financial services side, it is very important to be ESG compliant when they look into long-term investments. So having this kind of knowledge in terms of ESG reporting, certification, I think you can do it through the CFA modules as well. It's pretty important, so it's definitely one of the trends, and we have a lot of candidates and companies who are actually hiring or looking to join this kind of roles, so this is something that is definitely being sought after.
Yep. So other than that, talking about the advanced technology that we have right now, AI, I mean, it's not a strange word right now because people have been using ChatGPT, for instance, but it's also affecting the industry because they can utilize this technology in creating new ideas, generating investment trends or finance trends, as well as to automate manual processes. All right, which is the robotic processing automation. It's an advanced version of RPA. We're able to save a lot of lives. The last point, anyone can be a CEO, but not everyone can be a CFO or CIO. So what the point means is actually we can see a lot of bright, young crowd here. You might have a lot of entrepreneurial mindsets that you can set up a company one day and be a CEO. Or if you're at a corporate world, regardless whether you're from marketing or sales, you will got a chance to be a CEO. But when it comes to CFO or CIO kind of C-suite level positions, it requires very technical financial skills. And each step of your decision making, you require a lot of financial data to support your decisions, and this will able to help you to be there to share the kind of finance advice to the company, and you were able to achieve it with the right qualification. Yep.
Okay, how to stand out in the market when applying for jobs. I'm pretty sure majority of us here have applied for jobs or are looking to apply for one. So we've broken it down into three simple stages. Firstly is to always do your research about the company and about the role that you are applying for. Don't enter it blindly. You want to make sure that you Google, ask around people. I'm pretty sure that you have friends who have heard about a company, but at the same time, you want to take everything with a grain of salt. Everyone's experience may not depict your own experience when you go for an interview, when you, go join a certain company. The most important thing is to make sure that you know well enough so you are well prepared when you go into an interview. A lot of the times we get feedback from our clients is that when they ask certain candidates, so what do you know about HSBC, for example? Not a lot of people can answer that. So you need to make sure that you are well prepped, you know what the company does, you know what their products are. Of course, we're not expecting an expert about the company because you've never been in the company, but it's always good to be well prepped and do research on the organization itself. Next, customize your CV to the job description. Different roles have different JDs. Different companies might have different descriptions for a finance executive. One, you might be looking into like a full stack accounting role. Another one, you might be looking into just financial reporting. So how are you going to be able to tailor that to that specific JD? Make sure that your exposure is relevant to that certain job, okay? And make sure that you highlight your relevant achievements that is in conjunction with what is mentioned in the JD itself. Lastly, preparing for your interview. Now, practice always makes perfect. I think we always try to practice a lot. I think, Sheryn, you mentioned speaking in front of a mirror. Sometimes that might work, sometimes that might help. But it's good to sit down, allocate at least 20 to 30 minutes of your time, go through the JD, go through your past exposure in your CV, and identify how you're going to be able to bridge those exposure to what is expected for you in the new role that you have applied for. Come up with examples, come up with numerical, quantitative examples. You want to make sure that it is easy for the interviewer to understand what you have done, but at the same time, giving numerical kind of example would be good to quantify things and be able to make them get it right on the spot. The CVs don't get you the job, it gets you the interview, but you get yourself the job. So we've highlighted here some do's and don'ts in terms of building your resume. I'm not going to go through every single one of it because we have a booth here. So if you guys require any help in terms of reviewing your CV or you have further questions, feel free to come. I think it's right behind here in the ballroom to come and ask us any questions.
Yeah. So here are some market overview and some talent trends in Malaysia currently. So generally, 33% of people right now, they are active applicants. They are actively applying for jobs, seeking for a new opportunity, whereas 50% of them are passive candidate, which they are not desperate to look out, but they are open for new opportunity. And the rest of the 17%, they are not open for changing a job. There are three top reasons why people staying in a current company. And the first reasons, which is the obvious one, salary package. The higher the salary, you get higher job satisfaction, very straightforward, and that's why people still staying in the company. Secondly is flexibility, working arrangement, like working from home. So because this can really save your time traveling to work, or some people would have personal commitments and picking up their kids or whatnot, they would prefer a flex hour, and which have increased the demand of flexible working arrangements. And the third is work-life balance. So everyone want to achieve your work is not your life. All right, and making the kind of balance is very important, especially at the current work. So that are the three top reasons why. Other than that, even though we can see a trend of people having the kind of work from home flexibility, but they are increasing, company has been adopting fully coming back to work, especially within the financial services like banks. They wanted to make sure that people will be based in the office, making sure that they know what they've been doing. It also shows that they have increased their efficiency as well. And our research also have shown that more companies are investing in their L&D, learning and development, which they will go beyond across the border to get candidates. For instance, we see trends that people actually hiring expats for C-suite level roles, hire expats for CFO roles, for instance. But there's also some good news. We see an increase in volume of full-time job compared to past year. And 43% of companies have increased a high volume of recruitment in finance and accountancy roles, and which means 28% of recruiter workload have increased compared to COVID time. And this has shown that the job opportunity in Malaysia has been highly increased over the past year, especially this year, all right? So other than that, talking about some talent trends, there is a demand of digital professional. So if you are looking out, I would recommend you to focus in upskilling some new digital skill sets. For instance, data analytics, data science, or even programming language, for you to stand out from other candidates, all right? And this would actually help you to have the kind of digitalized mindset which you can automate manual processes at your work too. Other than that, like everyone has been talking about ESG talent, yes, this is the current trend right now, whereas companies has been heavily investing in sustainability initiative across their L&D or training programs, whereas we can see the company that have long-term ESG-centric strategy will stand out from their competitors and at the better positions in the markets.
Okay, the next one, banking and finance hybrid roles. So as mentioned earlier, we see that intermobility in terms of functions, right? People move from finance to risk or risk to finance. But at the same time, we also see an increase in terms of, we call it hybrid roles. So meaning that it can be banking and risk, or it can be finance and data analytics. So a lot of these skills, like we mentioned earlier, we focus on data analytics. Languages such as Python, SQL can be expected from a typical finance role as of now. But how do you actually counter that kind of demand in the market? Generally, really do your research. It's good to get extra certifications. You'll see on LinkedIn people posting about, I've gotten this certification from training, I've done this and that, and it's actually a lot, very, very helpful in terms of adding it into your CV, and how it will, and we also foresee like greater sustainability roles as well, as we mentioned earlier. The last one, priority given to companies with hybrid work models. It's kind of like a 50-50 depending on what financial services or investment companies that we look at. Generally, banks, I think the only few companies like Standard Chartered have hybrid working arrangements, but other than that, most of the banks are back into office Monday to Friday, but they do have flexible working arrangements, as in you can go in by 10 and leave by 4. So that is something that we see happening across Malaysia, and that's something that I think is an advantage to anyone and everyone here. Yeah.
So right now we are open to any questions from the floor. Feel free to speak out and put up your hand. Don't be shy. It's okay. No? I mean, because we would have a booth behind, but both of us will be there. So if, let's say, you need any advice on your CV, or you want to know how to stand out in an interview, for instance, do reach us out. And we also hiring for Hays, all right?
Feel free to join us.
Yeah, we do have finance background candidates join us as finance recruiter, for instance. So you can scan this QR, or you can just reach out to us behind the booth.
Thank you so much, guys.
All right, thank you.